Greetings, my crafty friends. It's July 2025. It's Julie Creek from Creek Bank Creations, and I'm here to share with you new product. We are excited to announce the release of a new stamp and die set, and you'll see here the fun cards we've created with it. This is a fun little girl on a scooter, and there's a little guy in that set, and super fun things that you can do with this set. Show you the stamp set first, and actually this would be a stamp and a die set. Has the boy and the girl, the balloon, the flag, and the sign, and the sentiments that fit in them. So you have keep going, you've got this, happy birthday, and do not give up, and they will fit in either the balloon or the sign. And you will see when you turn this set over that the dies are included in the back, so you can die cut them after you stamp them. Now, we also have another die called the glide and slide die, and these are the dies that you use so that you have the space in your card for our slide guide to fit in. So anytime you're wanting to have a card with a slide or a moving element, the slide guide snaps in there. We are going to look today at how to use and make these cards. We'll go over it all. We are actually going to make this card, which is a standard A2 card, and gives you super fun ability to make a moving card, and you can wish your friends a speedy recovery. We are going to start with the standard A2 card, which is going to measure 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to score at 4.25. That will give us the basic A2 card that we need. Now, I have die cut a background for this card, and this is from the largest stitched rectangle die from Creek Bank Creations. We are going to adhere that to our card front, just like that. Now, when I adhere this, I'm going to take my straight and steady tool, and I am going to line that right up on the fold right there and right along the bottom edge. And I've removed the adhesive from my paper, so when I go in to set my front, I can set it right against that tool, and I can know that I have perfect alignment every time for my card front, and that will give us the background that we need for our card. In the event that you don't have the die, that piece for the background is going to measure 5.25 by 4. Then we're going to put another piece on top of that, white cardstock. I recommend that you use some heavyweight cardstock, like 110-pound cardstock. And this piece is the second largest die from the Creek Bank Creations set, or it measures 5 by 3.75. The background of our card has stencil work. So the first thing we are going to do is to work on the stencil work. Now, I've pulled up my Misty stamp board here, and you can see that I have already, in my Misty stamp board, I have installed the stamper's window in the background. Now, you can use this inside your stamp board, or you can use it outside. Honestly, I just leave it in my stamp board. I think that works really well. Now, when we do this, we can put our paper in there, and we don't have to worry about the magnet or using stencil tape or anything. It's going to hold the paper in place for us. Now, we are using the Cloud Stencil from Creek Bank Creations, and you can see here that I've already masked off the bottom portion because I don't want my brush hitting that bottom portion. I only want the cloud edge, which is the middle piece, and we are just going to put that on the left, a little bit on the center, and on the left. So I have my stencil brush here. I'm going to pick up the blue ink, and we're going to apply the ink. Now, before I put the ink on my paper, I always dab it off. Just help me get a nice blue look and less streaks. If you have a heavily inked brush and you go direct to paper, sometimes you can get a brush mark that you might not want. So we're going to go that way. We've got a really nice start on our cloud. We're going to pick that up and we're just going to move it around any way we want to. I am purposefully pushing that cloud over to the left because I'm going to come back in and fill in some sun. I am using the Catherine Pooler Cove Blue ink. Our stencil brush actually works with any of the dye-based inks, but this, in case you want to know, I am using Catherine Pooler Cove Blue. We're going to fill that in, and I'm going to pull this off, and what I'm going to do is come back in, and I just want to fill in this space with a little blue. So I'm going to just come in really soft with my brush and fill that background in. I want to kind of get rid of the white, and I am not coming all the way down. I have probably 1.25 inches left at the bottom. We're going to fill that in with the brown ink, and then anything else I want to do with the brush, I can come in and I want to hit that edge better. Now is the time. There we go. So now what we're going to do is find our yellow ink. I have located my yellow ink, and I have my yellow stencil brush here, and I am using the Catching Rays or Sun Stencil. I'll put in the video what the actual name of the video, or what the actual name of the stencil is. And I am just picking up the yellow ink and making very gentle sun rays, and I'm swiping down. I'm not coming down here and hitting this because I don't actually want that point. I just want the look of sun rays. That's all I need, and we don't need a lot. We're just adding a little color to the card there, and you can mess around with this and decide how you like it. So we have definite rays. I would like a larger streak, so I'm going to come back in, and I'm just moving it over ever so slightly and coming back, and I just want to build up a little streak there better. There we go. Now I'm going to come in, and I'm going to go lightly with my brush and just fill in any of the white space and pull that down so I just have the sun shining. So that's a really fun way to add a really nice background to your card. We need some brown for this bottom part of the card. By the way, that was Catching Rays from Catherine Pooler, and now I'm going to come back in with Sandcastle, pick up some brown, tap it off. We just want a really light look. So I'm tapping off on a piece of paper to make sure I don't have a bunch of bristle marks, and then I'm coming in and I'm making that brown background at the bottom for our ground. And it's not very heavy, it's just a really light touch. And I have concluded my stencil work. I'm going to pull this out of my stamp board, and I am going to just hit this with a little water and wipe it off. You can see the stamper's window will discolor as you get ink on it over time, but it will still have the sticky surface that you need for your paper to cling to. So let's put that away. And you can watch my full video. I'll put the QR code in here on the stamper's window if you are not familiar with that product. We have our basic card, and we are ready to add our slit that we need so that our little girl can scoot across there on her motor scooter. And there are several different dies to use in this set, but we're using the one that looks like a rounded hill. And I am going to set that so that it's centered side to side, and I'm probably about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom of my card. I'm going to tape that in place and run that through the die cut machine. I have pulled it out of the die cut machine. I'm just going to put a dot of undo on this so that it removes my die very easily, and I have removed that piece from my card. Now if I go to put my card together at this point, when I put this on my card, if I leave it like this, I am going to have that aqua blue color showing from the background. And depending on what you are doing with your card, you may not want that color showing through. So I have taken the die and I have placed it on a piece of orange cardstock and I have created a jig. That means I set this on my cardstock, I traced it with a pen, and then I went and I cut, oh, that's about 1/4 inch all the way around it. You do have to watch the two ends because you don't want it too long. This is my jig, and now I can take my paper. So I'm going to take a piece of white cardstock and I'm going to trace that off and we're going to cut it out. So if you wanted, for example, if you were doing a brown hill and you needed brown in the background, you could just cut this out of brown cardstock. In this case, we are making grass. So I'm going to cut that out and then we are going to stamp grass all over it, and then we will have our grass background. So, you know, if you're doing water or whatever you're doing, you can cut that out to match, and you can do this with all of the dies that are in the set so that you can easily make a background that's the exact color that you want. I am going to take that piece and I am using the little bitty grass stamp that's in the set, and I'm going to cover this whole entire thing with green grass. And when I'm doing this, I took the lid off of my mini mister, and it is the perfect little stamp to go in and stamp. So I'm going to cover this whole thing with ink. Now I have finished stamping all of that background, and what you want to do is lay your card back over that and just make sure you have it the way you want it. That looks pretty good. Now what I want to do, I am using the, what's it called? Grass Skirt from Catherine Pooler ink, any green. So I'm going to come back and I'm just going to stamp along that top edge the row of grass all the way across the top of that piece, just to integrate that and make it look apart so there's not such a cold cutoff between the grass and the sky. And we're just going to go all the way across. You can decide, do you want to use 2 colors of ink? I just used 1. I think it looks fine. There we go. We've got our grass on. There's also a little stamp on that set for dirt if you want to apply that. Now what we're going to do is take our grass and we are going to flip it over. We're going to put tape on the back and we will adhere that on the card front. So you're going to take your card front, set that down, and I am not pressing it down, I'm just lightly setting it there. Then I'm going to lay this on the front and make sure I've got it where I want so that when I go back in to adhere that permanently, it's where I want it exactly. I'm just going to move it up a little bit because we are not ready to adhere this piece down. We're just pushing that piece down, and that just gives me the grass for the background. We are ready to adhere the slide guides to the card, and when you open the slide guide you'll see there are male parts in there and female parts in them, and really doesn't matter which one goes on the top and the bottom. I tend to put the smallest part on the bottom and then put the other one on top of it, and you can hear it click together when you put it on. And that is how we add our slide guide. We are going to turn the card over and we need to adhere foam tape all the way around the outside edge. Now I have previously colored my foam tape with an alcohol-based marker to give it the same kind of color that's on my paper. That just helps it to blend a little bit better. And we are going to go all the way around with the foam tape. Now when you come down to this edge right here, you're going to want to trim that right there and then start again because that edge is so close to the area where the slide guide comes across, where that slit is. So we're just going to give that a little break. I have found it very helpful when I cut these corners. If you'll miter that and cut that at an angle, that'll give you a nice clean corner, and then when you go back to cut the other side, cut it the other way, and that will give you a mitered corner instead of a square corner on that edge. Now we have our foam tape all the way around on our card, and we are ready to flip that over and add it to our card front. So I'm going to flip it over. We're going to take that foam tape off the liner and add it to our card. Before I add this to the card, I'm just going to add a little bit of undo to my foam tape. Run that right along. That will give me the ability that if I need to, I just pop my slide guide out. We're going to pop it back in. When this card folds, because you're moving it around, that slide wants to pop out. So just pop it back in. There we go. Now we're going to come over here. We're going to flip this over and set it on our card. And because we have that undo back there, gives us a little bit of time that if we need to maneuver and roll things around, we can. There we go. We are going good right there. Now we're going to take this particular slide, this arch, is a little tighter than the others because when you're covering that big of a spanse, you have to keep it a little tighter. Otherwise, the slide guides will fall apart. Now, what are we missing? I will tell you what we are missing. We are missing the little girl. We need to get her going. And we have our title. Now, this title, Wishing You a Speedy Recovery, is on the stamp set. The die is included so that you can cut it out. And I do want to share with you a little tip on the girl. Let's peel the back of this off and stick it on. When I am making a card like this that has everybody wanting to touch it and mess with it, I often cut a duplicate and put it on the back, and I have done that here. So this is just the regular piece of paper that I've colored, and this is heavyweight cardstock, 110-pound cardstock, and I have tape on it. So a piece of paper and tape, and I'm cutting it with the same die, but I'm cutting into the tape side. So normally when we die cut, we're cutting into the paper side and we have tape on the back. We're doing the opposite. We're taking a piece of paper, we're putting the tape on it, but when we die cut, we're die cutting into the tape side. That reverses the image for us. And now I'm going to add undo and put that on this piece to give it weight and stability. And I have paper back here, so the adhesive side is stuck to the little girl and she is ready to roll. I am going to take the mini glue dot, which is attached to this clear sheet, and stick it on the slide guide, and I want one mini glue dot for each slide guide, just like that. And then we will stick our front wheel here, move that over, pick up our back wheel, and we are good to go. She's sliding around. I thought it would be a great addition if I could get some butterflies on this card, and I had the little bitty tiny butterfly punch. So I punched some purple paper, and I have my super tacky tape on the back, which made them a sticker. This little bitty butterfly punch is from Tonic. It's been around forever. I don't even know if they still make it, but it certainly is a good option for your cards. I'm going to come back in with a white gel pen, just add little dots right there, add little antennas. There you go, sweet little things. And you have just finished up your Speedy Recovery card. So you can see the slide, how that works. Until it gets really loose, You'll kind of have to move it yourself. And it's just a fun card to give. The same concept can be used with the slit die to make your tractor move across. And just so many fun options. I thank you so much for joining me, learning how to make a fun slide card. You can find these fun products on our website, www.creekbankcreations.com.